Hello, and thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. I'd like to welcome you to our Propreneurs Financial Series seminar, Surviving and Thriving in the New Economy. And before we get started, make sure you print out the financial workbook that goes along with this interactive presentation, whether you're watching this on a DVD or if you're watching this online. Either or, you're going to be watching the presentation, stopping it, pausing it, filling out your workbook, and then continuing on through this presentation. And this workbook is for you. It's so we can determine where you are, assess where you are, what you want to do, get out of life, and then transition and building a specific plan to make things happen for yourself. But when you look at what's going on, it's really depends on what your attitude is with this economy. But many millions of Americans out there are struggling, and then there are Americans out there that are just thriving in this economy. And unfortunately, many people feel that this is just a recession; it's going to bounce back. And that's what the government wants to tell you. That's what they want to assure you that everything's going to be fine and dandy, and we're going to get back to the way we are. But understand. This is the new economy. There's new rules. There's no recession. It's going to come back. All the old rules aren't going to come back the way it was. The days of everybody having a job and having benefits and pensions and job security with employers. All those days are gone. This is just new. There's people out there that need to adapt. And I think that's the biggest thing. So while you sit here, I don't know what your situation is. We have people that maybe are out of a job and they're on unemployment, or maybe they've been able to keep their job, but they have to work a lot more with a lot more responsibility for less money because there's so many people that are out of work, and they're probably willing to do your job for a lot less. And then we have individuals that have been downsized, that are now overqualified and underemployed because they are overqualified. And what do you do? Well, this is what we want to teach you. We want to teach you the new rules. As bad as it might be, or challenging as it might be for some individuals, there are individuals worldwide that are just thriving and just making millions and millions of dollars and creating wealth. And you might think, well, how does that happen? Well, it happens because when you know the rules, it's easy to generate wealth when you know the rules, when you know how to play by them. When you're using the old rules and trying to adapt them with the new rules, it can be very frustrating, and quite frankly, it just doesn't work. So what we first want to do is take out your workbook and let's ask a couple questions to yourself, and let's write them down. Number one, why are you here? Why are you physically watching this presentation? Are you doing a favor for someone, or are you just maybe interested in what's going on and it just sparks some interest where you said, yeah, I'll take some time to look at things? Or are you truly looking to make a change? Or are you looking to maybe not make a change but enhance what's going on? Are you looking with eyes wide open, with a positive attitude, and going in with attitude that you really want to learn and you're open-minded? So write down, why are you here? And then number two, what do you want to change in your life? Specifically, what do you want to change? Not I want to make more money. Why do you want to make more money? Or what? I want more time. Why do you want more time? What do you want to do with the time that you can develop or free up? What do you want to change? Be specific right here. And then number three, how are you going to do that? What is your current plan right now? I mean, if you have things you want to change, my first question is, well, what's your plan to change it? What are you doing every day to change it right now? If you don't have a plan, that's okay. Just write down, I don't have a plan. If you do have a plan, write down the best you can what your plan is. And then number four, when are you going to go do it? Right? What is your goal to make that plan happen, to get to the results that you want? Is it a year? Is it 2 years? Is it 5 years? It's all different for everybody's situation. And then number five, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest, how important is it for you to reach those goals above? Are you kind of maybe don't quite know and you're at a 5? Are you kind of lukewarm? Maybe you're at a 7? Or, some people are like, well, I'm at a 10. I mean, in fact, I'm an 11. I'm a 15. I'm off that chart. I am 100% serious, and I need to make things happen now. So the first thing I want to talk about is your self-image. Everything in life is very simple, and this is where it starts. It starts with your self-image. How do you see yourself? The way you see yourself and the attitude you have really produces the outcome that you want. And a lot of Americans don't quite understand that, because a lot of Americans don't take the time out to understand how their brain functions, which is the most important organ in their body. It's the most spectacular organ ever developed out there. It's more powerful than any supercomputer that money could buy, and it's right there in your head. And the most important thing I think you need to understand moving forward, you're going to get a lot of education tonight, is knowing how that brain works. And everything starts with your self-image. If you have a poor attitude, if you have a negative attitude, if you have limiting beliefs on what you feel you can achieve, if the glass is always half empty rather than half full, then that's going to directly affect your outcome. I mean, if you're sitting here right now with a poor attitude, or you're kind of negative, or you're skeptical, then you know what? Your attitude probably isn't in the right place. So you're not going to get everything you want out of this. If you have a positive attitude, you're going to have positive results. You're going to do your best filling this out, and that's anything that you accomplish in life. Look at employees that come to work with bad attitudes and look at their performance during the day. Look at athletes that come to practice with great attitudes and look at what they can accomplish. Okay, so here's a couple questions for yourself. How do you see yourself? Are you confident in your beliefs? Are you confident about yourself? I mean, is your self-image kind of poor? You don't have a lot of confidence. How do you see yourself, and what is your attitude daily? Do you do your best at everything you can possibly do, you can possibly control every day, or do you just get by on things? Okay, and then finally, how do you see yourself as far as being able to achieve goals financially? What is your achievement financially that you feel that you can accomplish? Very important. Very important to get this written down so we know what you need help on. We know where your attitude is. If you have a good attitude, then we can do tremendous things with you. If you have a poor attitude, that's fine, but we're going to help you create that self-image and get it to a better place so we can help you become successful. Now back to your workbook. Let's look at question number 6. What characteristics or skills do you currently have, do you feel are an asset? In fact, just write down all the skills that you feel you have, whether if you think they're an asset or not. Because a lot of times people are very humble. There's people who are trustworthy, and a lot of times they don't think that's an asset, or they're responsible, or they're a problem solver, whatever it is. Time management. Sometimes we take some of our skills for granted, which are very, very key components on being successful. The great thing about generating income in this new economy is that you probably have all the skills you need. We just have to show you how to transform those skills in a different way in a different industries where you can generate the income that you want and reach the goals that you want. So get your skills written down there in number 6. And then number 7, what characteristics or skills do you want to develop or improve on? Maybe you want to be more organized. Maybe you want to have better time management in your day. You feel like you're running around with a chicken with your head cut off, and you can't fit anything else into your schedule. Maybe you need to be better at positive minded, or be a better communicator, whatever that is. Write them down so we know what we need to work on and what we need to help you out with. But let's talk about cause and effect. I think we can all agree for every cause there's an effect. Doesn't matter what it is. Okay, there's always a cause for an effect. When you go to sleep, the effect is you're going to wake up, right? When you put your hand on a hot stove, you're going to get burnt. It's going to hurt. So for every cause, there's an effect. Let's take this one step further so you can relate it to what's going on with everybody in the room. Let's replace cause with the word choice, and let's replace effect with result. For every choice that you make, there is a result, an outlying result. The situation that you're currently in right now with your personal life, with your finances, is because you've chosen to be there. And it's very difficult for you to say, you know what, I don't want to be here, I don't like where I am right now. But when it comes right down to it, you made the choices that have put you in the position that you are in right now. And that's what we want you to understand. If you don't like where you're at, it's very simple to fix. You just need to make better choices, and you're going to get a better result. It's simple. It's cause and effect. It's a time-tested, proven principle. So your choices equal your results. No one else has put you in this position, or no one else but you yourself. You can't blame it on your employer. You can't blame it on the economy. You can't blame it on the government. You're the one at the end of the day that makes the choices on where you want to be. This is the perception of a lot of the average people. They don't have time for anything else. A lot of people, and the fact is because it comes down to scheduling. You have people out there that are ultra successful. They're always, everything goes right for them. They're positive minded. They make the money they want. They have the time freedom they want. And a lot of people look at them, and the typical average person says, "Wow, they're just lucky." They're lucky. They were just put in this position. No. The fact is everybody has the same time in their schedule. Everybody has 24 hours a day. Okay? So, and everybody has the skills right now to be successful. So if that's the case, why are some people successful and others aren't? I mean, if everybody sleeps 6 to 8 hours a day and everybody either goes to work and works for somebody or owns their own business, they're putting in 8 to 10 hours a day in their own work. They're sleeping 6 to 8 hours, so they've got about 16 to 18 hours a day already tied up with their job and with their sleep. So then the remaining 7, 8 hours, whatever it is in there, depending on what your schedule is, that's what everybody has free time. And it's what you choose to do with your free time is what makes the difference. Because remember, every choice bears an outcome and a result. The successful people, they don't waste time. They don't. They don't watch TV. Okay? They don't waste time. They know what they need to work on today to get them closer to their goals. They don't let life dictate what their outcome is. They build their schedule so they get the outcome that they want. So if you're struggling getting ahead, it just seems like you can never get ahead, it's typically, we need to look at your scheduling. How much time are you spending wasting throughout the day? How much time are you spending on Facebook? How much time are you spending on the internet? How much time are you spending watching TV? How much time are you spending doing stuff that doesn't get you closer to your goals? And people wonder why they can never get ahead. So here's a fact. If you want to change your circumstances, yet all you need to do is make better choices with your time, and you'll experience different results. And all that goes back with the first couple questions you answered in your workbook. What do you want to change, and how bad do you want that to happen? See, sometimes people go through life, and a lot of people go through life, they say they want to change, but you know what? They're not willing to do any work to get to that change. They're looking for someone else to help them get to that change. They're looking because they have a job that their employer should give them a raise every single year, even though they're not bettering themselves or anything. Okay? They're looking for someone else. Look, if you want to make a change, it's up to you. And you have to want it bad enough to make that change. So here's the question. What are you going to give up in order to make better choices? Because people watching this, I know how they're thinking. They're thinking, I already have my schedule laid out, and you know what? If I'm going to do something like this, well, I'll get around to it after I get to do everything I like to do. And they're not going to go and look at their schedule and actually eliminate things to replace those with better choices. And that's what the average person thinks. That's why the average person thinks, man, I don't have time for that. You don't have time for that because you have deemed other things more important than where you really want to be. So you really have to, look at where you want to be and really hone in on, do you really want that? How bad do you want that? And how much are you committed to making that happen? So now, once you make the choice, you say, you know what, I know what I want. I'm committed. I have a good self-image, a good outlook. I looked at my schedule. I'm committed to make better choices. Now, the first thing you need to recognize is every single day, multiple times throughout the day, you're going to have battles. You're going to have battles. And a lot of people feel their battles are outside, outside the environment or their job or their coworkers or their boss. They're dealing with battles every day. But what you have to recognize, the biggest battle that you will have every single day is with you. See, you have in your brain a subconscious which sits behind your brain, and it just has all your core beliefs, all the experiences you've been through, all the perceptions that people have given you and opinions. You've cataloged them and you've formed your own beliefs. So if you're in a position right now where you feel your self-image isn't real good, your self-image isn't real good because that's what people have told you, and that's the environment that you've been around. So they've told you that you shouldn't have a good self-image. So when you try to make a change, it's going to feel very foreign to your brain. In fact, your brain's going to say, wait a minute, you're not supposed to spend time reading a book at night to better yourself. You're supposed to watch Dancing with the Stars. You're supposed to watch some TV. Eat bonbons at night. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to go to bed early. Don't stay up an extra half hour to read or make yourself better. And your mind is going to talk to you and try to convince you out of making a change, because your mind thinks right now that you want to be where you want to be. Your mind is working as hard as possible to keep you where you are because that's what you've told it. You've told it subconsciously that this is what you want with your attitude and everything, and with your beliefs. So until your mind understands that you really want to make a change and you condition your mind to make a change, then the battle becomes very easy. Then your mind will start working with you and not work against you. So it's very important just to recognize this simple philosophy right here as far as who you're going to battle every single day. So the next question should be, how are you going to overcome you? Think about that. Before we start talking about that, let's look back real quickly to question number 8 in your workbook. Do you currently use a planner or software program to schedule your day? I want you to think about this because this goes back to the scheduling, and I want you to understand, how much time you really have to spend on overcoming you every single day to win that battle that you're going to have to face. And number 9, I want you to think, how long is your commute to and from work? For those individuals that say, man, I can't fit anything into my schedule, how far do you drive to work? Do you drive 5 minutes to work, 5 minutes back? That'd be 10 minutes. Do you drive a half hour to work and back from work? That's an hour a day right there. If we can show you how to use that hour to and from work total, to become a better person, then it doesn't take any time out of your day. It's downtime. Instead of listening to the radio, you're becoming better in the car. How long is your lunch break? Majority of people get an hour lunch break. They probably takes them 15 minutes to eat. Some people will go out. Well, you know what? What if you just stayed in the lunchroom? You brought your own lunch. You're done in about 10, 15 minutes, and you got 45 minutes to work on yourself. Plus your hour commute. You got about 2 hours to devote to developing another income stream. So some things I want you to think about and write down right there. And then, how do we overcome you? Well, it's actually quite simple. You just got to become better, right? Income very rarely exceeds personal development. Research will bear that out. So if you go to college and then you get a job, but you never do anything to become better, then you're only going to earn so much money. If you become better, employers are going to pay you more money, or maybe you own a business and your business is only producing so much. If you don't invest in becoming better, better as a leader with your employees, better in finances, better in every single aspect, then you're not going to generate more income. So where you are is because of where your personal development is. So how do you become better? What do you actually do to become better? Well, it all stems from personal development. And I want you to ask yourself, what is your definition of personal development? What does that mean? Because a lot of people, when they look at personal development or self-development, they think there's something wrong with them. And there's really nothing wrong with personal development. Personal development is becoming better. Have you, if you look in your workbook, question 11, do you currently spend time improving your skills or mindset every day through self-development books, CDs? Have you done it in the past and maybe you've gotten away from it? Or maybe you've never done it before in your life. But personal development is becoming better. It's learning how to change your self-image. How do you do it? You just don't say, I have a better self-image, because if you have a poor self-image, your mind's going to tell you you don't have a good self-image. You have a bad self-image. Okay, they're not going to tell you have a good one. So how do you work to train your mind that you have a good self-image on how you look at yourself? How are you going to change your belief system on what you feel that you can believe out in life and what you can achieve? How do you write goals? First of all, you got to be bought into goals. If you've never been bought into goals, goals are foreign to you. Goals don't make sense. And then how do you actually write effective goals? How do you actually write a plan to make something happen? If you want to achieve something, you just don't go out and do it. Successful people figure out what they want to do, the time frame they want to do it in, then they develop a plan to make that happen. They identify the obstacles before they happen, how they're going to overcome those obstacles so they're not actually obstacles. So all this falls into the personal development realm, and this is what we need to help you work on every single day. We're going to need to help you with 2 major things right now. Number 1, that's your limiting beliefs. You have a belief system inside of you on what you feel you can achieve. If you've never earned more than $4,000 a month throughout your entire lifetime, it's hard to conceive that you can earn $4,000 a month part-time, or you can earn $10,000 a month. It's hard for you to physically conceive that because you have a belief system that really is a false belief system. Okay, you can earn whatever you want in life. Why can't you? Of course you can. But see, your belief system is going to tell you that you can only earn so much because the people around you only earn so much. Well, that's all false. So what happens is people go through life following a false belief system, a belief system that holds them back rather than a belief system that helps them achieve. So that's the first thing we're going to have to help you work on. And the second thing are goals. Research tells us that people who write effective goals achieve them. So if that's the case, if people who write goals achieve their goals, then why doesn't everybody write a goal? Because everybody hasn't been bought into writing goals. I mean, a lot of people haven't wrote one goal in their life. They've made money in life, but they've never had to write a goal to make that money. So they don't understand that. They don't understand what a successful business owner needs to do in order to earn the money they want. They just don't go hire people and whatever happens, happens and tell them, okay, come to work and do whatever. They have goals for those people when they come to work. The unfortunate part is that the employees, when they come to work, they're never taught goal setting. They're taught to be a good soldier, to just follow directions, to just do whatever they need to do each day and get it done. So it appeases the boss, and the boss has the goals, and the boss knows that when you reach these goals, then the boss gets to where they want to get to. So these are what we're going to need to help you work with initially: your limiting beliefs and your goals. But in order for you to actually take action, you're going to have discomfort in your life. That's why when we go back to the very first couple questions, how bad do you want those goals to happen? Usually the individuals that want those goals to happen really, really bad, they have discomfort. The more discomfort, the more pain they have in their life, then the more action they're going to take. If someone's kind of comfortable, there's no reason for them to step out of their circle and be uncomfortable and to go out there and make things happen for themselves and actually take a risk. So, this is what, you're going to have to answer this for yourself. You're going to have to answer, how much pain do you have right now? Maybe you have children going to college. You have no idea how you're going to afford them to college. I mean, imagine. I know people that are going to send their kids to colleges that really aren't that good at colleges because that's all they can afford. And these kids have dreams and hopes and aspirations of going to college of their choice that they work so hard to get to, because the parents have limiting beliefs on the income that they can earn. So they can't send them to those schools. I mean, how depressing is that right there? I mean, that should be pain enough to do whatever it takes to get your children in the best position as possible. That's just one simple example. That's going to be different for everyone. But now let's talk about the economy. Let's talk about what's going on. We already talked about that there's new rules. But before we get to the new rules, it's very important to understand the old rules, because there's people sitting here watching this right now and they don't understand what the old rules were. They think that they're just the rules, and here are the old rules. You go to college, you get educated, and you get a job. You work for a good employer for about 40 years, 35 years, and then you're going to retire, and you're going to retire with benefits, and then you're going to have financial security all throughout. You're going to be able to retire and do what you want. They are the old rules. And let me give you an example. My parents, they came right out of high school. So that was their education. Colleges really weren't that big back then. So you came out, you got your high school diploma, and they both worked for the same corporation for 83 years combined, just with a high school diploma. Whatever that corporation taught them while they're at work, that's the only outside education they ever got. And typically it was just, to become a better person as far as the tasks that they needed to do. Technology changed throughout, so it made their jobs a little bit more efficient, and it actually eliminated jobs, and they were fortunate that they could hang on for that long. But throughout, the company was good to them. They had a secure job for 40 plus years, each one of them, and then they retired with a pension, a modest pension and benefits package for the rest of their life, and that was their security. So they lived within their means as best as possible, based upon what the company thought they were worth. Not what they thought they were worth themselves, but they accepted what the company was worth, and that's what they made their life. That's what they built their life around. So now let's go to the next generation. Okay, they taught myself and my sister, you need to get educated. You need to go work with, in order to get a good job, you need to get that education. So we went to college. And then after college, we got a job. But then when you look about 20 years in, okay, the deal that they signed up for was great. And then they took that same deal, knowledge that they had, and they said, you know what, son and daughter, you can go ahead and do the same thing. But now when you look, now people are getting downsized, industries are getting cut, and it's very hard to find a job out there if that's happened to you, if you're in one of those industries, and many people are in there. So it doesn't really translate to just because you went out there and you got your education. Now the longevity of working for one employer, that's totally gone. And employers aren't paying you benefits. They're not paying you pensions. In fact, what they're doing, a lot of these corporations, they're saying, you know what, why should I take on an employee and pay all the benefits and everything? Why not just hire an outside contractor to do it? Have them bid on the job. They get 1099. They're not actually our employee. They come in, they do the job, and then when we need them again, we hire them again. That's what happened to my mother and father. They work for a corporation that at its peak had 8,000 employees and now have under 500 employees, because now they just hire all outside contractors so they don't have to pay those lifetime benefits and everything. And now, if you look at the individuals that are in college right now, how good is the deal for them? I mean, they're coming out of college with these degrees, and you're looking at colleges are anywhere from $20,000 to $45,000 a year to go to a decent college, and then they're expecting to make pretty good incomes when they come out, but those incomes, they don't even pay for their college. So they come out riddled with financial debt from their education, and then they can't find jobs even in their fields. And so let's look at that scenario. If you just kept those old rules, and for my parents, they were great. The old rules, that deal was great. For myself, so. For the individuals right now, they're terrible. How about the kids that are 3, 5, 6 years old? What do you think the deal is going to look like for them if they keep playing by these old rules? It's going to be lousy. So what you have to recognize is new rules in the new economy. Job security, when the days of your employer being your financial security for the rest of your life, that put the employer as the person who is responsible for your financial security. Today, it's not like that anymore. Colleges, just because you got a college degree doesn't mean you get a job anymore. Before, you would get a job. Now, it doesn't guarantee you any type of job. And then if you get more education, half the times you become overqualified for positions, okay? Because, they would rather hire someone for less money with less education and then get them to a point where they benefit the corporation, let them go, and then hire someone else. Employers look out for themselves first. They're profit-driven. They're not person-driven. There are some companies that are person-driven, but they're few and far between. They're not like the old days. And retirees, look at them. Look how late they're working. They're working into their mid to late 60s. Heck, I know people that are in their 70s that still have to work to make ends meet. They can't afford their prescriptions. They can't afford their health benefits, so they have to keep working. So where is the security? The new rules say you are responsible for your financial security, no one else. So if you're responsible, you got to find out different ways to generate income. But the first thing you need to do is first recognize, how do you generate your current income? And I'm going to introduce you to a gentleman, Robert Kiyosaki. He is a New York Times best-selling author, and I think he comes up with one of the best ways to figure out how you generate your income and where you really need to generate your income. But he has a whole series called Rich Dad, Poor Dad series, multiple books on many different topics, but pretty much within each of his books, he has a chapter devoted to the cash flow quadrants. Some people have read Robert Kiyosaki before, but they really don't know how to apply these quadrants. Others never heard of Robert Kiyosaki, but you can do your research. He's a multi-millionaire. And Robert had two fathers. He had his real father and his stepfather. And his real father was over here in this quadrant. The E quadrant, you have the S quadrant, the B quadrant, the I quadrant. Over here in the E quadrant, that is, we call his real dad a poor dad. And his stepdad is over here, and it's called his stepdad, the rich dad, and he worked over here in this paradigm. E stands for an employee. So his poor dad said, this is what you need to do, son. You need to go out there, and pretty much his dad taught him to work by the rules of the old economy. Go get a job, work for an employer, be a good employee, and they'll take care of you. Well, what happens with a job is you work for someone else. And a lot of people don't have a problem working for someone else as long as they have security. They know there's a job there and they can live their life and they know they can retire. And that's fine. And then what happens is some of these people who are employees, they don't mind the employee, but they don't like taking directions from other people. They said, you know what? I can make a pizza. I've been working for a pizzeria for 10 years, but you know what? I want to be the one that's making all the money, and I don't want to work. In fact, I don't want to work for this person because I think I can do it better and build a better pizza and do a better pizza shop. So they go down here to the S, which is the solo business owner. Okay, and the solo business owner, they go out there and they build a business. They work their tails off. They build a business, and typically what happens is they generate, if they're successful, they can generate more income owning a business than they do as being an employee. But what happens as a S business owner, solo business owner, a lot of times is their business ends up owning them. So if you look here below, in the E quadrant, you have a job. In the S quadrant, you own a job because you are now responsible for everything. You're responsible for the capital, for running the business, for accounting, for employees showing up and not showing up and paying the employees. You have to do everything. So a lot of people have their own business, but they can't leave it. Their business owns their life, and they can't leave it because their whole life income is revolved around that business. And they can't, they're so afraid to give other people responsibility because what if something happens? What if something happens and it affected their income? That's their family. That's everything that's going on. So that's where the poor dad taught Robert to do. Be an employee, learn how to be an employee, and then own your own business. Rich dad over here said, you know what, son? I wouldn't spend any of your time over there because number one, I don't know any employees that are financially independent and that are rich. And if your goal is to be able to do what you want when you want, then you need to spend your time over here to start in the B quadrant. The B quadrant are businesses where others work for you. So some people look at this and say, well, what's the difference between an S quadrant and a B quadrant? They both own businesses. Well, the S quadrant, the business revolves around them. You own a job. That's their mentality. If it's going to get done, it's going to get done because of me. The B quadrant, what they want to do is they want to bring on people. They want to hire people better than themselves. They want to train their people to be better than them so they can leave that business, have someone else run that business, and have others work for them so they can go do something else. That's why you'll see a B quadrant business owner, they don't own one business, they own multiple businesses because these businesses run themselves. They're system generated. They've got people that are plugged into a system, and because of that, it allows them to go do what they want when they want. And then Rich Dad says, when you develop your businesses, you take that income and you put it down into the I quadrant, which is the investment quadrant, the investor. Because in the investor quadrant, money works for you all day long. While you're doing something else, it's generating money for you. And see, the E quadrant, S quadrant, they never get over here. They never get into the I quadrant. They might dabble in there, but half the employees have no savings whatsoever. And they wonder why they don't have savings because they're hardly making any money. Because you know who's making money? They're working for either the S quadrant person or the B quadrant person. But that S quadrant person, they can't leave their business because their business owns them. But the B quadrant persons, they have all the financial freedom. So what I want you to do is figure out, determine where you are right now. What quadrant are you in? Okay? And where do you want to be? Question number 12. What quadrant or quadrants you currently generate your income in? Go ahead and circle those quadrants where you're generating your income right now. Number 13, what quadrants do you want to, earn income from in the future? And then 14, what is your monthly income needed to reach your goals? So if we go back to the first page when we wrote out our goals, we need to figure out how much money does it take each month for you to make that happen. And we need to put that here in 14. Don't limit yourself. Okay? Don't use your limiting beliefs. You just write down what you want and how much money it's going to take. And then 15, what is your time frame to achieve that monthly income goal? And number 16, when you reach those goals, what actually will change in your life? From question number 1. You had things that you wanted to change. What happens when you change them? What happens when you now have more time? What can you do? What are the things that you can do now with more income? What is your optimal goal? I'm sure there are hobbies, there are things you want to do, there are places you want to travel. There's something you want to do. And then 17, what is your current belief that you can achieve these goals in question number 1 on 1 to 10? And just be honest with yourself. Now, let's talk about mindset. To this point, we've talked about personal development, we've talked about your self-image, we've talked about scheduling, making better choices, we've talked about the new economy, we've talked about what quadrants where you're in right now, where you want to be. But now let's say you've determined where you are in what quadrant and what quadrants you want to get to. This is very important. Now it's mindset. Okay, and I want to really discuss this because in order to go from an E quadrant to a B quadrant, there's a whole different mindset. In fact, it's very difficult for us to, if you've had a job all your life and you went and you got educated to get that job, it's hard for you to comprehend that you can earn income in other areas and you can earn income part-time that's greater than what you earn full-time right now. That's very hard for people to understand. And it's very hard for people to understand that, there's people that actually work without instant gratification. The majority of employees, they are instant gratification people. They go to fast food places because they want everything right here, right now. If they work 5 hours this week, they want to get paid for 5 hours this week, and they can't understand that person that works 5 hours this week and might not get paid for those 5 hours this week. They can't understand that. I mean, they can't understand that sometimes the business owner they work for, that they're just paying all the bills and they don't really have much income coming in for themselves. They don't understand that, and that's why they are in the employee. But this is what you have to understand. This is what you have to shift from. See, if you're an employee, if you're in E quadrant right now, if you look at the bottom of this triangle, this is what your schedule looks like each day. You wake up and typically outside of your work, and this is this triangle here, this pyramid, this represents your free time. So with your free time, you pretty much do the first things you do are the things you like to do. And after you get through the things you like to do, watch TV, play sports, go bowling, play softball at night, whatever it is, surf the internet, then what happens is then you'll do the things you have to do after that. But very rarely do people do the things they must do. That's why people who are in E quadrant, they usually are under a lot of crisis a lot of times because they let things get to crisis mode because they don't handle them when they should. Now, here's what you have to understand. The high achiever in the B quadrant, I want you to look at their schedule. They wake up and they know what goals that they have in life. They know where they're going in life. The average E person has no idea where they're going in life. They're just going with the flow. Just so that check keeps coming in, I have my weekends and keep doing what I want. But this is what the high achiever does. Every day they wake up, they know what they must do every day to get them closer to their goals, and they do them first. And once they get accomplished, then they do the things they have to do. And once they get accomplished, then they'll do the things they like to do. And some people will look at this and say, man, that sounds like a boring life to me. I don't want anything like that. You know what the high achiever does? Is the high achiever makes sacrifices. They say, you know what? I'm going to work like this for the next 2.5 years, 3 years. Because I know when I do that, then I can reach my goals and I can do everything I like to do all the time because I have a business or businesses or income working for me when I don't have to be there and babysit that. See, that's what happens. Okay, so this is the mindset that you have to understand, that it's so important to know what your goals are and know the time frame and then build a plan to make that happen, and that's what we're going to help you do. So now let's talk about B quadrant. Okay, whether you're in an E or an S, that's fine. As long as you recognize that, the next thing is, well, I want to be in a B quadrant. How do I do that? You can stay in an E or an S and start to build a B quadrant. Have a plan to build a B quadrant. But when you're choosing a vehicle, there's some things you want to look at. And the most important things we feel are the ones in white. Risk versus reward. If you have a job or you have a business, the last thing we want to do is put a lot of risk. We don't want you to leave your job or anything like that. We don't want you to put your whole life savings into starting a business. We want to find a business that is low risk, high reward. Low risk meaning low capital, low monthly income, maintenance to run that business, but a high reward. Something that doesn't have any limits to the potential of income you can earn. Another key factor is personal development. We talked a lot about personal development. Imagine being an E quadrant person, say I'm going to start a business. You don't have any experience. You don't have any what am I trying to say? You don't have any confidence in running a business. Your belief system probably isn't that great. You might have an okay attitude, but once something goes bad, your attitude falls, right into the can. It goes terrible. So you need to have a personal development. I've always been taught this. The average person owns big TVs. The successful person owns big libraries in their house. Okay, and go look at it. I mean, look at the people who own big homes. Look at those people. Go look, and they'll have bookcases. Look what kind of books are on those bookcases. Go in their offices. Heck, a lot of people, the average person who's an employee, they don't have an office. What do they need an office for? They need a room with a 50-inch plasma TV on it. That's what they need. And they don't need one, they need 5 or 6. So personal development is key if you want to be successful in everything. And then time leverage. If you have a job or own a business right now, and then you have a family, well, you have certain time constraints. So you need to have a business that gives you time leverage, that allows you to work this part-time. I mean, you can't be an E-quadrant person and say, you know what, I want to have a real brick and mortar business with employees and everything like that, and a storefront. You'd have to give up your job. I don't know anybody that is an employee and then owns a restaurant. Okay, that's very rare, because you have to be there if you own a restaurant. You can't not be there unless you're running it from the B. But in order to run it from a B quadrant, you gotta have a ton of money to do that. So all these other things: trending industry, stability, innovation, technology support, no geographical limits. These are all things that we consider when choosing a B quadrant business. So let's talk about options. Franchising. Franchising is extremely successful, but if you're an employee, how are you going to own a franchise? How are you going to own a Subway sub shop? How are you going to own a McDonald's? How are you going to own a Pizza Hut? Right? Well, franchising is extremely expensive. It's extremely expensive because they give you all the rules. They give you all the directions on how to be successful. In fact, your most successful franchise out there, they send you to college. They send you to Hamburger University. That's McDonald's. Because they believe in personal development, making you better, and you have to follow the directions. You can't be a cowboy and go do whatever you want whenever you want and earn a McDonald's. They'll shut you down. So franchising is a good B quadrant business if you're not the one running it. If you pay someone to run that business, it's a great business. But the successful ones are very expensive. I mean, you're probably looking at least $100,000 to get into any decent type of franchise, but they're like decent ones, like the low end of franchises. You want a really, really good franchise, you're looking at $250,000 to $1 million. So franchising is probably out for the general person watching this. And then you have real estate. Okay, what if you can earn residual income through real estate, where you have rentals that people are renting and you're earning money every single month? Well, if you've ever owned rentals, then you would probably know how much work it actually is owning a rental. And if you really want to be successful and be able to do other things, you need to have a property manager, someone that manages all those properties. But in order to do that, rule of thumb is you have to have about 20 properties to pay someone else to run them. So you're looking at a lot of risk, and especially when you look at how the real estate market's up and down. I mean, you can put a lot of money in there and get into some very tough situations with just how the market is, and there's a lot of money that needs to be invested. So that's probably out for a lot of people. You can become a financial planner. That's a good B quadrant business. I mean, but you're going to have to be the financial planner yourself. So that means you're probably going to have to leave your job and devote to financial planning. I don't know too many people that invest in part-time financial planners. I mean, if you're going to invest your life savings, you're going to invest into a full-time financial planner or a part-time financial planner. Okay, think about that. And then any traditional business you can make into a B quadrant, but typically they never do that because it costs so much money, and the person that is a solo business owner, they own that pizza shop, and there's cash that's being dealt with, and they put all this time and effort and hard work into this business to get it to where it's at, and it's producing their family the money they can, but they're owned with that business. They're owned by that business. They can't give it to someone else to run. They can't do that. They can't do that in their head because that's their family. What if something happened? So here's another option: network marketing. And to be quite honest, this is really the best B quadrant business out there. Now, I know some people watching this are going to, their perceptions in their head is, man, network marketing doesn't work. And the reason why they have that is because the image they have in their head is basically all based upon perceptions, what other people think, what other people have done, and maybe even typically their experience. But all that is basically fake in their head, and they don't understand it. Because if you actually did your research, you'll see that there's perceptions and there's facts. And many people have perceptions about what this industry is about. What if I told you more millionaires have been developed in network marketing than any other industry? So if I'm going to look to get into a business, wouldn't you want to get into an industry that has produced more millionaires? How's that happened? If a lot of people watching this had the perception that network marketing doesn't work, why is it? It's because the individuals that say that, they've never been educated. They've never been educated on the industry and how to be successful within that industry. But the network marketing industry, it thrives during a down economy. Look at the statistics. Look in the early 90s when the economy was down and struggling. That's when so many millionaires were made in network marketing in that time. You can see the ebb and flows in the economy, and you can directly correlate the activity that goes on within the network marketing industry. Perception, many people feel it's all about recruiting. Many people feel that they're scams or they're illegal or they're pyramids, and they make up all this stuff in their head, and you know what? That's their core belief, and they'll believe it till the cows come home, even though they never did one bit of research. Heck, many people don't even know that network marketing's produced more millionaires than any other industry. Imagine that. They don't even know. They don't know that the number one company of developing millionaires out there is Microsoft, and the number 2 company worldwide is a network marketing company. They have no clue and no idea because they've never done their homework and they've never done their research. The industry generated over 125 billion last year globally, huge. And here, how about this? How about 70,000 people per day join the industry per day? Okay, it's a thriving industry. It's just what you have to be taught is, where do you want to be in life? Okay, this pyramid is the same for any business, whether it's Nike, whether it's McDonald's, whether it's a local pizza shop down the street, or whether it's your network marketing business. You have an owner, you have a management, and then you have employees. Where do you want to be? Do you want to be an employee working for someone else's dream, or do you want to be the CEO of your own business and have people work for you? That's the question you have to ask yourself. That's what network marketing allows you to do. It's no different than a franchise. When you own a franchise, you're the CEO, and then you're taught how to make it happen, and you have people working for you. And when you're in network marketing, you're the CEO. You're taught how to build a business, so you have people working for you. When you're an employee, you're taught to stay an employee. You're taught to work hard. You're taught to work even harder and to work for less, and you'll just have to like it. And the CEO up here, they're living all their dreams. And the management, they're wondering, how the heck do I ever become a CEO? And they're really working like a dog. They're working on salary probably. So, when people say it's a pyramid, yeah, it's a pyramid. Everything in life is a pyramid. So here's the question: where do you want to be? Do you want to be the CEO, or do you want to be the employee? Now, when you talk about network marketing, this is extremely important. A peddler versus a professional. The majority of people who think, when they hear the word network marketing, they think of the peddler model, and they don't even know it's a peddler model, but that's what they've been exposed to, because network marketing falls in 2 quadrants right here. It falls in the S quadrant and it falls in the B quadrant. The majority of people who associate network marketing they associate it over here in the S quadrant. These are people that they think network marketing is about sales, it's about recruiting people, and it just doesn't work. And that is the model that they've been exposed to. So they're thinking right because that's what they've been exposed to, and because that's what they've been exposed to, that's what their perceptions tell them, well, that's how it is. Well, there's another side to it, and that's the professional side. The B quadrant side in network marketing is professional. The individuals here, they earn $1 million a year, $30,000 a month, $20,000 a month, $10,000 a month. They do not peddle products every single month. What they do is they believe in self-development, and they teach their people to become better. They teach their people to become leaders, and they're developing systems. They're developing big businesses, and they function professionally. They don't go out there and peddle their product and peddle their opportunity and act like crazy people. They're professional in their manner. They use professional tools. And because of that, they get professional results. They get the time leverage. They actually build businesses. These people over here in the S quadrant, they can't figure out how to get a check because they're bringing their old stinking E quadrant minded philosophy into an S quadrant network marketing business, and they're not doing any personal development at all. They're not even writing goals. They're just running around with chicken their head cut off, and you wonder why people would fail in that model. Of course they would fail. It's just like you buying a McDonald's and not having any help from the corporation or any training. You would absolutely fail. That's why franchising is franchising. You go into franchising because the rules and the directions are already done for you, and all you have to do is follow them. So very, very important. Do you want to be a peddler or a professional? And then here's the recipe. A lot of people never even take the time to know, how to choose a good network marketing company. They typically just go to a meeting. They go to a meeting because their friend took them to a meeting and the product sounds good and the people in front of the room are saying whatever and promising them all this, and because it sounds good, they don't even do any research. They don't do research on the company. They don't do research on the financial backing. They don't do research on the business plan. And let's go through the recipe. You're looking for a company that's a stable company. 5 years old or greater in our industry means they're going to be around for a long time. That's a stable company. And next is financial backing. Who is the financial backer? Especially if they're under 5 years old, you need to know who is investing the money to make this company go. Okay, is the company debt free? You need to know all that, especially even if they're 5 or 6 years old. You need to know who's the financial backer. And what are the other products? Are the products innovative? Are they in a trending industry? I know many people that join industries where the product isn't even consumable. I mean, really, is pots and pans really taken off? Are selling candles really taken off? I mean, come on now. If a business person is looking at trending industries, probably the best trending industry right now is the wellness industry. Why? Because your baby boomers, look at where they are. Health benefits are being taken away. They're being taken away from many industries. The health industry costs are rising through the roof. People are looking to become more progressive in their health. So it's almost $1 trillion industry now. So if I'm looking at a trending industry, then man, I would look no further than the wellness industry. And you're looking at a category creator. Are they a copycat with their product, or are they a first to market? First to market, they own the market. Look at the iPod, Apple and iPod. They own the MP3 players. They own 85% of that market because they were the first to market. Everyone else fights for the scraps. Look at Microsoft. They invented the PC. They own the PC market. Apple, they're fighting for scraps with other companies, with Sony. They can't figure it out. So you can look at innovation. When innovation and you're the first to market, very, very important. Then you're looking for a simple business plan. Half the time when people go to network marketing meeting, the people who are showing them the plan and their friend that brought them, they don't even understand the compensation plan. If you can't write out a 2, 3, 5 year goal right then and there while you're at the meeting, then the plan's hard. Okay? They can probably tell you everything about the product, but if they can't tell you how to write a plan to get to your goals, then how are you going to be successful? You need to be able to write a plan out in about 10 minutes or less. And if you can't do that, then the plan is too difficult. Then a support system. And the support system needs to be based upon relationships and success development, self-development. That's the first thing out of my mouth if I'm looking for a network marketing business is, what is your personal development system? If they don't have one, they can't tell you one, run. You're going to be successful. That's like buying a franchise and they're not going to give you any directions. Why would you even buy a franchise if they didn't give you directions? Why would you invest $250,000 in a Dunkin' Donuts when they don't even tell you how to make the donuts or anything like that? So very, very important with the recipe. And then here's how can we help you? Okay, we went through a lot of information. What do we do and how can we help you? We've made everything so simple as far as the personal development side and being able to choose a company, because quite frankly, there are thousands and thousands of companies out there that you can choose from in network marketing. First thing we do is we have an intern and certification program. We're going to enroll you into a 20-month certificate-based education course. You're going to be partnered with one mentor and then eventually several mentors, but you're going to earn in an e-learning environment. Just like if you went to college, we have online college software that is going to teach you how to change your self-image, how to change your belief system, how to write goals. We're going to actually write your goals out with your mentor. You're going to learn in an e-learning environment, so it's flexible around your schedule, and also in a face-to-face environment. And we're going to enroll you into an accountability program, which is extremely important. We're going to hold you accountable to your goals. It's very difficult to do anything alone. That's why we're going to hook you up with a mentor that's going to keep you accountable and keep you on task to what you want to do. And a lot of times people look at accountability and they're like, I don't want any accountability. I don't want a boss. This isn't a boss. This is someone that's going to help you coaching you so you know what you need to change or what you need to adjust, or when you're doing good to pat you on your back. And the great thing about our internship program is you will earn while you learn. We're going to hook you up with a business that's included with the program, with the educational course, and you're going to develop goals over the next 24 months, and you decide the income that you want to be generated per month after your 24 months. In fact, as you go through our program, your business is going to pay for you to take this program, which is great, and then you're going to earn a profit. But it's $350 up front. That's the average cost, and about $75 a month to run your business, and that includes your certification program. And that's incredible. I mean, you're looking between what, $2,100 and $2,400 over a 2-year period that you're going to invest in yourself and in your business. And that includes all your business costs every month. That's amazing. And I know people will look at this and say, wow, I don't have $2,100. Well, you're not doing it all at once. It's on a monthly basis, but you're putting this money into you. I mean, how much are you worth? I mean, are you worth getting a different career? And then for those people that maybe they already own a business, maybe if it's a traditional business, maybe it's already in the network marketing industry, but they don't have that personal development background, and they really need that. We have a certification only program where you just get enrolled in the certificate-based course, the e-learning face-to-face. It's $85 a month for 24 months, so it's just around $2,000 for your course. And this is how we want you to think, because this is how we develop our course. I mean, if you look at the traditional route that people take, look at the old rules. Okay, they go get a 4-year degree, and you're looking at $7,000 a year. How many colleges do you know you can go to for $7,000 a year? It's going to be $28,000 total. I say that is totally low-end ballpark, but many colleges are $25,000, $20,000. Heck, there's colleges are $40,000+ per year. So look at the debt you have, and then you have to go get a job. Or maybe you want to be an LPN, a licensed nurse. That's $8,000 to take that course. A welding certificate, $5,000. Cosmetologist certificate, $5,000. And these are 1 to 2 year courses. A+ computer certified to work on computers. Culinary arts, hospitality, $5,000. So when you take our internship and our certification program, it is an incredible value. But here's the difference. In our plan, after 24 months, you have an income every single month, and you determine what your income is going to be. These other courses right here, you have debt at the end of their programs, and then you have to go out there and find a job. So, we are really changing the way people are going out there and transitioning from the E quadrant or S quadrant to the B quadrant. But here's just an example of our online course software. You're going to be able to go. We have 8 semesters. We have tons of courses in there, and they all come in audio fashion, video fashion. We have PDF downloadable documents, and then you have tests that you're going to take. And like if you're in lesson 1, in order to get to lesson 2, you got to pass lesson 1, because it's based on not you taking it. It's based on your comprehension of what you're learning. So when you get done in your 24 months, you're gonna learn stuff, and you're gonna be applying this stuff already. That's our incredible software. But I want to leave you with this. I want to leave you with just a simple story of a squirrel and of a grasshopper. And if you know anything of a squirrel, they work nonstop all year round, and they are getting nuts, and they're burying them in the ground, they're taking them in their tree, and they're storing nuts. And that grasshopper, it enjoys itself all summer, and it's hopping along, and it's just enjoying life. And then when winter comes, it gets cold, and you know what? That squirrel, it goes into its hole, and it's got nuts all year long. And then that grasshopper, it's been playing all summer, and it gets cold, and it doesn't have anything to eat. And that grasshopper goes to that squirrel and says, Mr. Squirrel, can you share some food with me? And you know what that squirrel says? You know what? I've worked all winter long, I've worked all summer long, and I've went out and got these nuts, and I'm sorry, Mr. Grasshopper, but these are my nuts, and these are nuts that I have set out there, and I've stocked away so I can last through the winter time and get back to the springtime. And Mr. Grasshopper, I'm sorry, but I don't have anything for you. So what happens to the grasshopper during the winter? The grasshopper dies, because the grasshopper didn't plan ahead. It took for granted when it was warm out and everything that was going on, and it had all the food that it needed. But the squirrel knew that times were going to get tough and the things were going to change. The weather was going to change, and the food that was going to be just wasn't going to be around. It wasn't going to be plentiful like it was, and that's what happened. So what you need to figure out, are you the squirrel? Everything might be okay right now. You might be kind of comfortable right now, but what happens when life changes? Your kids might be 3 or 4 years old right now. What happens when they're in high school? What happens when they need to go to college? What happens when they want a car? What happens to your retirement? Your 401k might look good right now, which it probably doesn't right now, but what happens when other people are in charge of your finances? What happens if you lose half of your 401k in just a matter of a year and you're getting ready to retire? Okay, are you planning ahead, or are you that grasshopper that you think everything's going to be good, and man, the old economy is great, this new economy is terrible. What do I do? Can someone help me? Can I go to the government? Come on, government, can you help me out? And then you know what's going to happen? The government's only going to help so many people, and that well is going to run dry. And when that well runs dry, what's going to happen? Who's going to take care of you? So I want you to think about that. I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. This concludes our portion of the presentation. And if you want to take the next step, then we'll have another quick little 25-minute video to expose you to a business that we have enrolled into our internship program. I mean, quite literally, if you're interested in the internship program, we have researched thousands and thousands of companies. We've narrowed it down to the top company we feel to generate an income for. We've done all the hard work for you. And then if you're already in a company or you own a business and you want to get involved in the certification program, well, that's pretty simple. That's just getting in touch with the person that directed you to this and get you started in the course as soon as you want, and you really starting to take control of your life, having better time management, learning how to write goals, learning to achieve more in less time. So I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. My name is Chris Wilson, and have a great day.